Welcome back to VL Speaks. It's been a minute, hasn't it? Okay, true confession. Created another channel, having conversations with other people, which I talked to you about before, and it is live. Skillful Living an Artful Life. And you'll see the handle there in the intro to this episode. So that's what's been taking up a lot of my energy, plus other work. But I'm back. And this episode is focusing on resetting, pivoting, and then moving forward. So why resetting and why in May? I used to think about that. Why May? Well, I was like, I need to look this up. It has to do with this period, this month, is the midpoint between when spring began and when summer begins. So the vernal equinox and the summer solstice, that's why it's the midpoint. And it's a huge transition, and the weather here has been crazy in the Northeast. Some days it looks like spring and feels like fall. I don't know, but that's a cause for us to really focus on, huh? Yeah, but that's another topic, the environment and climate and this beautiful planet. We're going to focus on resetting and pivoting. Okay, why would you want to do it? Well, it's important to reassess where you're at and where you want to be. And how do you think that you're going to make your way there in some kind of nice little outline way for yourself? Sometimes it's not easy to see the path, right? It's not easy to see, like, how do you get to point A to point B or CD down the line? But what you can do is focus on the little things that you do every day that lead up to that next point. Firstly, your physical body. If your physical body is not doing well, it makes it harder for you to do anything, right? Because you're just constantly thinking about what's going on with your body. If you're in a lot of pain or if you have a chronic illness, the first thing to do is focus on getting your body well so that your mind can be relieved of worry and stress and get the body feeling healthier. Focusing on what you're eating, what you're drinking, what are your daily habits? Are you getting up and going to sleep at the same time? Really basic stuff. Also, not just what you're consuming as far as eating and drinking, but also what you're consuming as far as what you're listening to, what you're watching, who you spend time with. All of these things contribute to your physical well-being, believe it or not. Have you ever been with a person and you've left them and you're like, you felt completely drained, like the life was sucked out of you? Whatever you can do, stop hanging out with those people. I mean, or if you have to see them, spend as little time with them as possible, or find a way to tune them out. I know sometimes they're your relatives, but you have to do what you have to do to keep yourself well. Okay? If you are doing some kind of an activity and you feel really junky the next day, chances are that's something that you don't want to do anymore. And that means that you're going to have to assess who you're spending time with. Right? If it's a job that's training you, then you would do well to spend some time journaling, which I talk about all the time, and let it rip, let it run wild. What would you love to do? What do you think you'd be great at? What would you like to learn? It's always a good time to do this, but specifically now, right? Because we're almost halfway through the year. And I don't know about you, but when I think about next year, I'm like, I don't want to be in the same place that I was last year. No, there has to be some progress along this. And you're not alone. You know, there are a lot of people that are going through this right now because there's a lot of tumult in the world. And also, I believe that more people are wanting more meaning in their lives, and that is wonderful. So you're not alone in the process, you know. I'm in a pivoting process here. I'll share something personal with you. I'm in a pivot here. Over a year ago, started doing this, coming to you via camera and video. I was very accustomed to teaching in front of people, in front of groups of people, in front of classrooms, workshops, auditoriums, working with people one-on-one. This was a huge pivot to come here and start speaking to a camera and not getting frustrated because I wasn't getting any feedback, which you are welcome to leave. Just be respectful. I want this to be a community where we can share, and it's a safe space, but everybody has to be respectful and mindful of what they're saying. So just know that you're not alone in this process. There are a lot of people that are going through this right now. So journal. Focus on your daily habits, regulating your daily habits, cleaning up habits. Yes, everybody's got their poison, right? You got to know the antidote. And let's face it, the environment is full of poison, even in the water. But there's always an antidote. And gradually, you'll find yourself changing habits. It takes time. Be kind with yourself. Be patient with yourself, but be diligent. Okay? Keep in mind who you have around you, what you have around you, what you are consuming. Even on your skin. I've talked about the skin. I devoted an entire episode to this, which you can go back to, the skin we live in. That's very important as far as keeping your body healthy. So take all of that into consideration, and then once you start really focusing on your body, you're going to notice that the mind gets freed up, and then creativity starts to come forward, which is great, which is another reason you should journal, to keep track of your thoughts and what's happening inside of you, what's motivating you, why. The why is very important when you start making changes, because it's what keeps you motivated to move forward. Empirically speaking, okay? The why is really important because it lets you know, are you on track? And does this fall in line with the things that you want to do? When things come into your experience and you have a choice of yes or no, or this is another preference, come back to your why. Come back to your why, and that will help you stay on track. And we do need things to help us stay on track, which is why we want to surround ourselves with people that are supportive. And you don't need 100 people to be cheering you on. It could be 1 to 5 people. I mean, these are two things. As you get older, time moves faster. It does. It feels like it moves faster because life gets very busy and there's a lot more things to tend to. Another thing is that if you have a few people that you can rely on, you are fortunate. That you can say, this is a person that you can speak to for support, you're fortunate. And if you don't have those people, seek them out. Seek out mentors, people that are wiser than you, not people that are going through the same stuff that you're going through. They're not going to help you move up. You want to surround yourself with some people that are wiser than you. Not that all elders are wiser, but typically they are. Not all of them, but typically I have found, empirically speaking, that people that have been around the block, have been around the sun more times than I have made more mistakes than I have seen more things, have some good advice to share. And I can say I'm fortunate. I've got a group of women. I used to have far more elders in the males category, but they have a lot of good stuff to share with me and to impart on me. And I feel fortunate that I can say, wow, thank you. Thank you for shining another light on that. Surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with wise people. It makes a world of difference. A world of difference. Now, let's say that you don't know quite sure what it is that you want to do. Let's say you're looking to change your work, your career. Volunteer. Volunteer in that field if you can. Do some volunteer work. In general is great anyway. Giving back is a wonderful thing to do. But volunteering and seeing what it's like, and you never know. You could get another gig from that. I have. It's happened. I was working with children in schools and doing after-school programs, and I was able to get grant money eventually in different school systems in 2 different states at 2 different times. But it can happen. Write down what it is that you want to do, why you want to do it, and then you'll find yourself coming up with ways of how to do it. But once you commit to it, it seems like the world just comes in, things start lining up for you. But you got to believe it. You got to have faith in it. You got to have faith, even if it's a small change that you want to make in your life. You've got to believe in yourself. And again, be kind and be patient and be practical in this whole process. Empirically speaking, from experience, I have found that it is important that I not overwhelm myself. Try not to overwhelm yourself. If you put too much on your plate at the same time, you'll find yourself not being able to do everything, and then you'll get dejected and kind of down on yourself, and then you might give up on it, and then find yourself a year later going, why didn't you see that through? So please be practical about it. Pace yourself. You might want to give yourself segments of things that you want to do in time. Okay, in the next 2 to 3 months, want to focus on X, Y, Z. Boom. And you know what? Life changes all the time, so we are thrown off course at different times, and then you do a little pivot for course correction. Just a little pivot. That may be all it takes. Just try not to beat up on yourself. Okay? Be kind to yourself. And be honest with yourself, but be kind first when you're going through this process. Alrighty. What have we done here? We focused on your physicality. The mental. The mental part is important, calming the mind down. A lot of people have been talking about not being able to sleep. So I did an episode on relaxation, and then the one after that, which was the last episode I did, was on meditation. But relaxing the mind and the nervous system is really important. Okay, so that means if it's coming down to the evening and you know that you want to be winding down because you want to start getting up a little bit earlier so you can get things done, like exercise. Exercise is excellent, not just for the body, but also for the mind and the nervous system. And I'm not talking about pummeling yourself. That's not necessary. Gentle activity like walking or hiking or taking a beginner's yoga class, especially if you haven't been exercising, that's great. And it helps. It helps to integrate the body and all the mechanisms when you're focusing on your breath and using your mind to connect your body and your breath is crucial. It's very important. And if your nervous system is completely strung out because you're not getting enough rest, or you're working too many hours, or you're not going to sleep at a good time so that you can wake up and feel refreshed and rested, it takes a toll on the mind and the nervous system. So I highly recommend that you add relaxation and quiet time to this reset program, because it makes all the difference. Have you noticed what it's like to make a decision completely under the gun, frazzled? Sometimes you're not making the best choices that way. Some people say that they thrive in it because it keeps them on high alert, but it's also really bad for your adrenals and for your nervous system, to operate on that level all the time. It's going to take a toll on your body for sure. Cortisol running through your body all the time, no bueno. Everyone would benefit from practicing relaxation and having some quiet time. And it's up to you to figure out when's the best time to do that. I can't tell you. Everybody's different. But I do know that for your mind and your body to be really working together, that's a crucial part of it. And then once you've gotten that down, definitely going into a meditation practice. That takes absolute discipline to do. I can tell you that much from years of doing it. I call it a sitting practice. I'm doing other things while I'm sitting, but that's what I call it, because it's about sitting still and getting the mind then to not necessarily become totally still, but definitely quiet down. And what you focus on when you're in that meditation practice will also change the benefits that you receive. Alrighty, so you've got some things to do. You knew that. Just be systematic. Remember why you're doing this. And then focus on the rest. If you need to listen to this again, go ahead. It's here for a while. It's not going anywhere. And I hope you get to check out some of the interviews on Skillful Living an Artful Life. It's at Skillful Artful Life. I'll put it in there for you. Alrighty. Thank you for checking in. Please leave comments or ask questions. Just remember that this is a safe space. This is meant to be a safe space, kind of a haven. So we want to be supportive to one another and come with solutions, humor, love a good joke, make it clean, because kids sometimes visit this. And yeah, let's create some community here. I invite you in. Until we meet again, sooner than later. I'm working on time management. That's one of my reset thingies. Alrighty. Well, you have a lovely day. Ciao.